Hey my friends, welcome back to the Skookum Report. Once again, it's very good to be back doing this again for you guys. And this Bigfoot encounter comes from Bobbie Short's archives, and as always I want to thank her friends and family for allowing me to share from her archives all her writings, the stories that were sent in to her, all the legends and everything that she had amassed over all the years. And it's just a shame that there's some controversy surrounding how she passed, but I'll let you guys dig into that and decide for yourself. Maybe we'll do a Skookum report on that one day, and you guys can take from it what you will and decide for yourselves. But have a lot of respect for this lady. And let's see, Johnson County, Arkansas, October 2002. This was northeast of Harmony, Arkansas. And it was in a hollow between Macwood Mountain and McConnell Range. The nearest road would have been Apple Road and McConnell Road. And this all was on an unmaintained national forest road that traverses part of the length of the hollow. It was all part of the Ozark National Forest, and it was very mountainous. The dry Spadra Creek flows through that hollow, and the sighting location was within about 100 yards of that creek. Now this gentleman wishes to remain anonymous, and he goes on to say he has lived in that area for many years, and lived for a few years in a northeastern state where he hunted bear using a nuisance license animal permit from that state. He's an avid hunter and has hunted bear, deer, wild hog, small animals, and predators in Arkansas. He's very familiar with all the classified animals in the Ozarks and familiar with the odors and sounds produced by those animals. So he's very well educated on what goes on around him in the woods. Prior to this incident, the witness had driven alone in his Nissan pickup truck about 3/4 of a mile into the hollow, where he parked without turning the truck around. He was alone and did not lock the truck. He had borrowed an old Remington semi-automatic .22 caliber rifle, which was equipped with a 3x9 1-inch scope, with which he was going to hunt squirrels. He walked up the old road about 100 yards or so from the truck, and when he noticed a live cedar tree to the left of the road, which had been broken and twisted, and the top bent to the center of the road and pointing to the northeast, toward Macwood Mountain and Apple Road. He saw that the break point, it was about 8 feet off the ground, and the trunk was slightly larger than his upper arm at the point of the break. The witness had been in the area recently and had not seen the broken tree, and he knew that there had been no winds in the area since that time, which could have broken the tree. He studied the tree for a minute or two, and after he was unable to determine how it was broken, he continued up the road. After walking about another 25 yards, he saw another cedar tree on the right side of the road, which was also live and green, about the same size and broken in the same fashion, with the top pointed in the same direction as the first. At the time, he became very interested in determining what had broken these trees and why. He stated he could see the trees were not simply broken by the weight of a bear, as the tops were twisted after having been broken, so that they pointed in the same direction. He was baffled by the way the trees had been broken, and although he soon continued walking up the road, he could not help but think about how odd the conditions appeared. At the time, the creek bottom was heavily timbered with large oak, hickory, and pine trees, and he soon became preoccupied with stalking and shooting a few fox squirrels. The National Forest Service sold the timber in the bottoms in later on, about 2004 or 2005. So the area has now been clear-cut. About 30 minutes before dusk, he began to notice that the normal sounds of the birds, especially those of large woodpeckers that call at that time of the day around their nest trees, and the insects. All the sounds were missing. Just about that time, he heard the loud sound of a hollow tree being struck 3 or 4 times by what sounded like a large rock or a green stick. Very hard wood. The sounds somewhat alarmed him because they were coming from behind him, and he placed the sounds not far from his truck. He immediately thought that someone was messing with his truck, and since he left it unlocked, he turned quickly and started back down the road. Now, the encounter happened when he was walking at a fast pace and was soon within about 150 yards of the truck. At that point, he heard a soft grunt from the woods to his left. He looked in the direction of the sound and noticed a movement in the woods at an angle of about 45 degrees. He froze immediately and saw a large figure in a squatting position behind a very thin veil of brush about 30 to 40 yards away. He immediately thought that he was seeing a cinnamon phase bear because of its color, but he quickly realized that what he was seeing was not a bear. The creature was squatting on its haunches, with its knees spread slightly and its 2 long arms extended between its knees, and with its balled-up fists resting on the ground in front of its feet. The animal was staring directly at him and slowly rocking its body side to side and making short grunting, clicking, and chirping sounds with its mouth. The witness stated that he was frozen in shock for about 2 or 3 seconds, and suddenly he had an overpowering fear that the animal was going to charge him. He immediately assumed that the animal was poised to spring off the ground towards him. He said by reflex he raised the rifle in a split second and tried to shoot the animal just below its chin. He said the animal appeared to have no neck, and he tried to hit the animal right below its chin in the spine to disable it. He stated that he had one time killed a 375-pound black bear with one .22 caliber long rifle hollow point bullet at about the same range by hitting it in the center of the neck and spine. Well, man, with the 22, whatever, you're just going to piss that thing off. When the bullet hit the animal, it stood upright with its arms hanging to its side. The animal turned its whole body and began running up the slope of the ridge. The witness stated the animal had actually been squatted only a few yards from the base of the ridge at that point. As soon as the animal wheeled and started crashing through the smaller timber on the slope of the ridge, the witness stated that he emptied the rifle at the running animal's back, which to me is just ridiculous and stupid. You're not going to kill that thing with a 22. And you're lucky he didn't turn around and come back and kill you, bro. I mean, good Lord, that was just stupid. But maybe he just didn't know. Maybe he was scared. Who knows? None of us really know, I guess, unless we're in that position. But it sounds crazy to me. He stated that he thought the rifle held 15 long rifle cartridges, and he was sure that at least 7 of those bullets struck the animal. About the time the rifle clicked to indicate it was empty, he heard the animal stop running. He then realized the animal was at a point directly up the ridge from his truck and that he was standing with an empty rifle. He then bolted to the truck as fast as he could run. He threw the borrowed gun in the bed of the truck and jumped inside the cab. Just before he did so, he heard the animal crashing through the timber again, and it sounded to him as if the animal was running towards the truck. It pissed him off, all right. He started the truck and threw it in reverse to turn around. Oh, my Lord. He backed the truck up into a tree. He quickly put the truck in forward gear and tried to turn around in a very narrow road, and in his haste, he struck another tree with the front of the truck. After banging the truck up and banging it through the timber and over large rocks, he finally got it back on the road and drove at breakneck speed out of the hollow. He never saw the animal during this process, and he has not hunted in that hollow ever again since. Yeah, I don't blame him, because they'll remember him. His description was when he first saw it, the animal was facing him and squatted in the position of a man, like a man taking a dump in the woods. His words, not mine. The man said the animal's legs were spread and its arms were between its knees with its hands made into fists resting on the ground. He stated the animal was covered in reddish-brown hair that in most places appeared to be about 3 inches long on the forearms. And on the forearms, he saw the hair appeared to be a little shorter and not as thick as that on the rest of the body. He stated the head possessed a conical shape, similar to that of a mature male gorilla. The animal had no visible neck or ears, and although he stared at his face, he was unable to discern any facial features because of the halo of hair around the face. After he fired the first shot, the animal leaped to an upright position. He noticed the hair on its head and shoulders was noticeably lighter in color than the hair anywhere else. He also noticed that the hair on its knees were discolored. He thought those areas were covered with a light coating of mud and water. He said when standing erect and later when running, the legs appeared to be thick and powerful, but slightly bowed. He particularly noted when it was standing upright, the animal's arms were large and long and hung alongside the body like a human's, rather than protruding forward like the front legs of a bear standing erect on its back legs. He said the animal appeared to be about 7 or 8 feet tall with a muscular build. And he said for its height, the upper body did not look disproportionately large. Excuse me. The witness said he could not see breasts or genitalia to determine the sex of the animal, although he was sure it had no pronounced breasts like those of a mature woman. He stated he believed the animal would weigh somewhere more than 400 to 500 pounds. 400 to 500 pounds. When the animal ran away, its legs were noticeably bent and its long strides were fluid-like while running. Its long arms were said to be swinging in what appeared to be an exaggerated but fluid motion, just like Patty. And they say, I've heard many times, they say when they're walking or at a fast pace or even running that it seems as though they're floating. They're not bobbing up and down, and they're just wicked fast. The related sounds, he said, while the animal was squatted, the witness said it was making short, low-volume grunting and chirping and clicking sounds with its mouth. He stated that the sounds were somewhat similar to, but different from those made by hogs and bears. He stated that when the first shot hit the animal, it made a loud, short grunt, but he did not believe it made vocalizations as it ran off. The only sounds he remembered hearing during that time were the sounds of breaking limbs and brush and the thuds made by the animal's feet as they struck the ground. Excuse me. I'm sorry. My allergies are ridiculous right now. The scents and odors, he said, the witness stated that shortly before he saw the animal, he smelled a foul odor, which he described as being a mix of the smells of rotten meat and a sewer treatment plant. And in some other details, after the witness encountered the animal, he said that he made the mistake of telling some of his co-workers about the incident. He said that he had caught a lot of flack and a lot of ribbing about the incident. And after a while, he just refused to talk to anyone about it. Nearly a year ago, the writer first heard about the incident from a friend of the witness. But until now, the witness refused to discuss the subject. He has recently decided he doesn't care who knows about it because he knows what he saw. It is significant to note that the witness had, prior to this encounter, hunted this part of the Ozarks for many years, both day and night, and had never seen evidence of these animals, and never even knew they existed in this part of the country. Many of the area residents who hunt in the hollows off the southern front of the Ozark Mountains in Johnson and adjoining counties have for years reported encounters with large, hairy human-like creatures. Now, others have found collections of animal bones and skulls and large piles of feces in certain distinct areas in the upper and most inaccessible parts of the hollows. These areas are bounded by steep sandstone bluffs, some of which are undercut by erosion. The ledges below many of the larger overhangs contain abundant physical evidence and artifacts to show that those locations have been used as shelters for both animals and Indians. Very few hunters enter the upper reaches of the hollows because of the ruggedness of the terrain. Now, this report was recorded by and given to Bobbie Short by Tal H. Bronco. He's a field researcher and investigator representing the RFP Research Project. And this was in Johnson County, Arkansas, and I'm going to put up a map so you can see exactly where that county is in Arkansas. But I guess if I had a .22 and I saw something like that, I would just slowly back away and just I probably would even throw the gun down. Having read so many reports on the Skookum report and listening to other shows like Steve Istall and How to Hunt and the Sasquatch Chronicles, they know what guns are. They're very smart. They outclass us 100% in the woods. We got no what am I trying to say here? We got nothing on them. The best thing we could do is just slowly back away, put our hands up in a non-threatening position. That's what I would do. But this guy shot at the back of this Bigfoot 7 more times with a .22. Forget about that, man. I would be afraid he'd turn around and come and just rip me in half. Just leave me there. Anyway, thank you guys for checking out this Skookum report. And if you or anybody you know has had an encounter or seen a Bigfoot and had a sighting and you want to have it on the show here, just write it down in an email and shoot it off to me at skookumreport@gmail.com. That's skookumreport@gmail.com. And I'll be sure to get it up on the show for you. It's not a problem. That's a safe place to share. There won't be no ridicule here. You won't catch no flack like this guy did. If I see anything like that in the comments, like I've said before, I will erase them and delete them and block them. So you don't have to worry about it. And you can find a lot of like-minded individuals just to get stuff off your chest and share with in the comment section. Because God knows the majority of people out there just laugh at you. I got people who laugh at me all the time. But it's just because they haven't taken the time to read up on the subject, look at any documentaries, read any peer-reviewed papers, just look into it. All the way back into the 1800s, it wasn't hidden as much. You can find newspaper articles, just all kinds of stuff. But hey, listen, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button if you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs down if you didn't, and just don't forget to say hi in the comments. I enjoy talking to you guys, meeting so many awesome people. And again, I want to thank all of you for your kind words of encouragement. And while I was just going through my health issues and in the hospital and stuff, you guys are really great, and it makes me feel real good to know that you guys just take your time to encourage me like that. I appreciate it. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. And God bless. And until the next time, I am out.